So one thing that's being acknowledged and realized more and more nowadays is not only what you eat, but when you eat. Things like IF, intermittent fasting, or TRE, time-restricted eating, have become very popular, and it's not just from a weight loss standpoint. This has to do with the fact that if we give our body more of a break from the constant bombardment of food, the constant energy demands of digestion, we allow more time for rest and recover. It makes sense. But one of the things that we want to be aware of when we're playing with our feed window, if you will, the window of time when we eat, it's going to be actually when we eat during that window. This is something that I've started to have to come to terms with myself, just to how I was balancing out that intermittent fasting, that TRE, time-restricted eating window. This is especially important if you're making all these dietary efforts and you're moving in the right direction, but you're eating one of your meals late at night, maybe your biggest meal late at night. Maybe you do no breakfast. Maybe you come in there with a smoothie or a light lunch throughout the day. And maybe at dinner, that's when you have that one big meal. Depending on how close that is to bedtime, you could really be undercutting your efforts, especially from a weight loss standpoint, which I know is a lot of motivating factor for a lot of people who do this. On a macro level, listen to why, and this one's easy to understand and comprehend. Listen to why that can be an issue. Explain this to patients all the time, and it makes sense. As the day winds down, my energy demands generally become less and less and less. My body's getting slower and slower. It's using up less and less energy. Therefore, I don't have a need for that robust bolus of food, that robust bolus of carbs, fat, protein, anything like that. I have less of a need for that as I get closer and closer to bedtime. Also, insulin sensitivity tends to decrease as we get closer and closer to bed. What does that mean? That means if I eat a lot of food close to bedtime, my body's going to take what it needs for energy, which is a lesser demand now at this point, and now that excess is going somewhere else. That excess is being stored as body fat. Some of it actually can bind to some of the tissues if there's that excess blood glucose, blood sugar in there, and form what's called AGE, advanced glycation end products, and that can damage the tissue in their own right, a sign of aging, but also damage to the tissue. So we don't want to do that. There's that excess blood glucose, that excess sugar hanging around in your blood cells, to the organs, virtually everywhere in the body. But on the flip side, like we talked about with the weight aspect of it, I'm making my efforts. I'm working out during the day. I'm only eating maybe 2 meals a day. I have that good window. Maybe I'm only eating for 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day, but I'm eating that one meal close to bedtime. Like I said, it can be undercutting. Body's using that, use what it needs for energy, doesn't have any more energy demands, especially because you're going to sleep. Excess, nowhere else to go, takes that excess energy, that excess fuel, stores it as body fat, and now we have stubborn weight loss and perpetuating weight gain, all because we ate a little bit too close to bed. So be wary of that. A lot of people say maybe 3 hours before bed is a good time to cut off that last meal, no snacking either, 3 hours before bedtime, but also maybe we want to rearrange it. Maybe we want to eat a bigger meal earlier in the day and slowly trickle down the volume of food we're taking in at night. And maybe that last meal of the day should be a lighter one. Play with it, especially if you're having issues with weight loss. It might be the missing key. Good luck.